out this morning. It's April the 18th, and went out this morning and got our second turkey of the year. This is a little bigger than the last one last week, and this is a 21.5 pound turkey, and it was a great hunt. Remember the last one I got last week. Really didn't have an exciting story, you know, just come in quiet. Just those that watch the video, and they give you the tip about the silent gobblers. This one was totally opposite. This one, you know, read the script. He done what they're supposed to do, and decoyed him in, and that's always fun. That's actually the first one I've actually got to use the decoys on in a couple years, and he gobbled pretty good actually, but they didn't gobble very good at daylight. They was pretty quiet. I heard one way off, and then I heard another one down next to the river bottom, and but they were way off on another property. And about 10 to 8, I heard this one across on another little ridge where I got the one last week, and I thought I pretty well knew where he was at. And I thought he was down in the field, and when I jumped up, grabbed my stuff, took off across the field, went down, you know, low so he wouldn't see me, because I thought he was in the field. So I went over, or under, I mean the hill, instead of going over the hill, and got down before I crossed the fence over into the little ridge top, and I hit my call, and he gobbled, and he was right down the holler where I got the one last week. And so I knew he was probably 80 yards maybe, right down in the holler. So I just crossed the fence, and I went right across the fence and set up, and sat down, got my face mask on, got my gun across my lap, and I called again, and he gobbled again, and he was still pretty much under the hill. And so I figured I had time, and I had a couple decoys in my back, so I just pulled one hen decoy out of my vest, and I crawled on my knees out about 18, maybe 15, 18 yards, and I set it off over on an angle. And once I got the decoy set up, I just I crawled back to my tree where I had my gun, and I laid the gun across my knee again and got my face mask up. When I hit the call, as soon as I hit the call, he'd already closed the distance. You know, he'd already come halfway up a hill. So, man, I was just lucky to get back to the tree before he popped his head up. And so as soon as I got set up, he gobbled again. I knew he was closer, so I knew he was coming in. So I was real quiet, didn't say nothing to him, and probably about a minute later, I seen this old white head pop up down there. And then he kind of got up there where I could see him, and he started strutting. And I seen this old fan, you know, just a working like that, and he was a strutting. Then he started gobbling, and he was, you know, and I wasn't saying nothing to him. He started gobbling. I seen that old neck stretch out and gobble, and he was about, you know, 45, 50 yards, just still a little bit too far. And so I was just real quiet. Well, he hadn't seen the decoy yet. And so once he got up there, he started strutting, and he started looking around for that hen he thought he heard. So I clucked again, just a little short cluck, and he gobbled again. And then he saw that decoy up there. And when he saw that decoy, he just started wobbling, just right to her, you know, to the decoy. He started coming right to her, so I just let him come. In a situation like that, don't do anything. Don't start calling, don't start doing anything. Just let him come. And he come right up to the decoy, so he was probably about 25 yards, and he stopped. Now the decoy is just a little bit in front of him. He stopped, and he started strutting. He started spitting and drumming. And he was turning that tail to that decoy, and he was wanting that hen to come to him. Well, he thought that was a hen. And he was he hadn't come up to the decoy yet, but I was just being real quiet, and so he starts, and all of a sudden he looks at the decoy and he gobbles at it. And he shot out a gobble right there about 25. I mean, I could have killed him any time. I was just watching the show, and he gobbles at the decoy, and I almost got tickled. And he starts strutting, and he looked at it. So then he comes up to the decoy, and he starts like he takes these feathers and he's like brushing up against the decoy. And he's brushing up against it and it's moving it, and I'm sitting there just enjoying it, you know. And then he started pecking at it. Then he started like pecking at the. He started. It was a great show, you know, and because he was a gobbling and he was doing all that, and he started pecking at the decoy, and I said, well, I guess we better end this show before he finds out that it's fake. so I clucked one time and he threw his head up, and that was all she wrote. And so he's a real nice turkey. So it was a great show. It was a great morning, and he gobbled pretty good. I tell you, this high pressure came in, the wind finally died down. I tell you, last week was the most horrible opening week of turkey season I think I've ever remembered. It rained, it was windy, it was nasty out, and I got that one, 18 pounder, but he come in quiet. And this morning, I mean, they didn't gobble great on the roost, but this one, you know, he's by himself, and as you can see, he's got pretty good hooks. He's probably a 3-year-old turkey. I say he's probably a 3 and not a 2-year-old. He's got some really sharp. He's got little over an inch spur, and I'd say he's probably about 3 years. He's 21.5 pounds. Took him to the check station and checked him in. He's 21.5 pounds. Actually, when I picked him up, I said he was 22, 23, so I was off a little bit. But usually I get pretty close, but he's a nice turkey, and really just got a real, you know, paintbrush beard, and he's been strutting a lot. Man, I mean, you could tell he's an older turkey because, I mean, these tips are just, if you zoom in on that, these tips are just wore down to just nothing hardly, and so he just been strutting a lot, and so I'd say he's probably a 3-year-old turkey at least, but he really gobbled good, and he, like I said, that decoy really come right on in. When you're decoy hunting, one quick little tip I want to give you. One thing I did, and it's very important. A lot of guys, they want to set their decoy up straight. Like if you're setting up against the tree, you know, say like this. A lot of people will take their decoy and set it right out and straight in front of them because they want the gobbler to come straight in front of them. That way, they're thinking in their mind they don't have to move. So they want to set it straight in front of them. That's the worst thing you can do, because once he locks on that decoy, just like this one, once he locked on that decoy, the way I had it positioned, he went away from me and he went to an angle. So I always set mine up to about a 45-degree angle or something, just off. I don't set it in front of me, I set it to the side, because his mind was on that decoy. I mean, he was pecking at the decoy and he was you know, brushing up against it. So his mind was not on me. Now, if I would have had that decoy set straight out in front of me, then, you know, he would have been looking right. If he been looking even at the decoy, he'd have been looking right past the decoy straight at me, and if I'd have moved a little bit or anything, could have spooked him. So get his mind on something away from you. And see, once he locked on it, because I was like this, once he locked on it, I just followed him, because his mind wasn't on me, he's on the decoy. So I just followed him real slow, and I got right to the decoy, and I could just sit and watch the show, as they say. So that's just a quick tip. Never set your decoy straight out in front. Always set it off to the side. You know, set them out 15 yards even. You know, I don't set my decoys way out 25, 30 yards. You know, get them in there close, because, and I could have shot this turkey anytime I'd have wanted to, you know, pretty much. So he was 25 yards for quite a while, 30 yards. But I just wanted to come on decoy and watch the show. And it was really an enjoyable hunt, I mean, I'm glad I got the one last week, and always fortunate to kill a good turkey. But this one had a lot better story to it, and just a classic hunt, you know, classic just turkey hunt, and really enjoyed it this morning, and hoping that they'll work a little bit better this week. I used my 870 this morning instead of my 1187. I hadn't hunted with my 870 hardly any the last couple years, and it kind of looked lonely sitting in that gun cabinet. So I just got my 870 out this morning and used it. And like I said in the one video about turkey shotguns we was talking, I just assumed to use one, I would the other. So I got to hunt my 870 again, and both of them are great guns, and pattern real well. So he never knew what hit him, that's for sure. And so it was. But anyway, he's a nice turkey, and got a couple more to get. So hopefully we'll have a couple more to show you, and but I hope everybody out there is having luck. I know that some of you emailed me already and told me about your luck. I know one guy from I think he was from, I can't remember. I think he was from Pennsylvania or something. Maybe I may have that wrong, but he's telling me about a big one he got the other day, and how that tip that I gave about silent gobblers really helped him. So I'm glad. So that's what we do these videos for, is to help you try to be a little bit more successful. Again, I don't claim to know everything, but I've killed quite a few of these old longbeards, and that I think I know a little bit about it. So. But hopefully you learn something from the channel here. Write me and email me or send me a picture, and we'll put it on the channel here. All right. So until next bird, hopefully we'll see you here on the channel. God bless you. Be safe out there and have a great time.